Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ferrum Football First and 10. I'm your host, Jordan Mann. With me, as always, Coach Rob Grande. Coach,
Hey.
congrats on the win.
Appreciate it.
Ferrum gets a big win, big conference win against a highly talented offense in LaGrange, 34-20. Couple shout-outs to Players of the Week, Brian Mann, Colin King, and Kendall Bell, who was Rookie Defensive Player of the Week in the conference. Coach, what was your thoughts on the game?
Obviously, getting a win is important. We dropped two here at home, so coming back and getting a win at home is a big momentum. You always want to defend your home turf, and as you mentioned, they had a high-powered offense and quarterback that was leading the country the week before in passing at 6 touchdowns against NC Wesleyan. So we knew we'd have our hands full with a quality player in him, and our defense stepped up to that challenge.
Yeah. He threw for 289 yards, but 31 of 49 and 3 interceptions, which I'll get to. But that comes to under 6 yards per attempt. So the defense still did its job. And also, if they're going to beat you, try and beat you with the pass, eliminate the run. That's what the defense did as well. Held them to about 3 yards a gain on the ground.
Sure, and that's the game plan weekly is to limit the runs and make people pass. That's kind of playing into their hands, you would think. But if they could run the ball and throw it the way they do, they've got you coming and going. So we wanted to make sure we solidified the run game and certainly needed to do a good job in the perimeter in the passing game.
And one key opponent to also win football games is field position, where you start and where you make the opposing team start. And that's what King did his job this week. 3 punts, all 3 inside the 20 as well. Yeah,
he's talented. He's got a few different kicks in his bag that can allow the ball to drop in, and great coverage unit. Lawrence Baranski had a good job on the first one, which knocked the ball back, and we pinned him down there. And then he had another one that was downed inside the 10, and the third kick, we actually had good coverage there with Devontae Clark made a big tackle inside the 20-yard line to make all 3 of those punt opportunities create long fields for them.
Yeah, going back to doing a game recap here, the first punt set him inside the 5, like you said, on our first drive. And that set us in good field position where LaGrange fumbled it. A.J. Camp forced the fumble, and Dustin Swain, he recovered the fumble and set up a touchdown drive from man 28 yards out.
Yeah, again, just volume turnovers. Not only we have the traditional takeaways, the picks and the fumble, had 2 turnovers on downs defensively, and to carry that over from the NC Wesleyan game where we had a number of turnovers as well, usually results in success, and those 2 weeks showed true. So we got to have another big week taking the ball away, and that's something we practice and something we preach.
Now, how happy were you first off to see a freshman in a big of a play by Kendall Bell returning that interception inside the 10 and allowing the offense to have a short field and man punched it in to go up 2 scores?
Yeah, Kendall's a good player. We saw it in camp, and it's kind of a slow start there at the beginning of the season. Got ample opportunities against Huntington. Really his first game, that week 4 opponent. Had a pick in that game, and really plays well. He's got a good feel for the game and has made a commitment off the field, meeting times. There's a lot of things that freshmen need to do to gain confidence. It's not just their ability to play. And he's done all those things, and he's made the most of his opportunities on the field, and got the Rookie Defensive Player of the Week, which was well deserved.
Yes, it was. And right before half, LaGrange scored, make it a 1-score game, 12-7, and knowing that the score made it a 1-score game, but knowing they also get the ball back, what was the adjustments that you needed to make at halftime?
Well, just the sense of urgency. I felt the first half could have been a lot better for us in terms of score, and wouldn't be as close, 12-7, but it was what it is, and they went down, scored to their credit, and they had possession coming out at half, and we were able to limit them to a field goal. But they actually scored in 4 consecutive possessions. The one at the end of the half, 2 field goal drives, and then the one that put them up 20-19 to start the fourth quarter. So you kind of treading water there, but the defense came up big in a couple of those red zone stops to force those field goals, and then the offense rallied behind Brian and put the game away there in the fourth quarter.
Now, going back to what you just said, when LaGrange took the first lead of the game at the start of the fourth, 2019, did you feel like the team had a little letdown, like they were down on themselves, or do you feel like they were ready to go right back out and smack them in the mouth?
Yeah, I never get that sense from our team. That's something that I'm proud of them about. And certainly at halftime, we discussed how the second half is going to be much different because of the score and their ability to, come back in the first drive. And there's a lot of football to play. And I knew we'd play 60 minutes, and it was 20-19 at the time, and it became 27-20 pretty quick. And then we put it away there at the end, 34-20, which it was great to see from your team too, where you got to deal with adversity and the score and the change in momentum.
Yeah, I'd hate if somebody had to go to the bathroom right when LaGrange scored 2019, and then Mann scores literally one play later and make it 27-20. That 2-point conversion was big too, because the couple extra points that were missed at the beginning of the game, that made up for it, because without that 2-point conversion, that could still change the game, because a touchdown effectively could beat you.
Sure. So, obviously there's points on the board that we left off early in the game, and Dre made a nice catch there in the end zone on the 2-point conversion, and made it a 7-point game, at that point in the fourth quarter.
And like you said, it was 34-20, and then Mann scored from 16 yards out to make it 34-20, and then Al Matthews had a big play in the game. It was a 4th and 4, and he stopped I think it was quarterback, stopped him from a yard out, maybe a yard and a half, but gave Ferrum the ball back. And though Ferrum didn't score, you still caught the ball, wasted some time, and effectively the game ended 34-20.
Yep. Well, at that point, obviously we gave up some yards in the kicking game on our kickoff unit. Needs to improve, and gave them a ball, in good shape for themselves. And defense held, made a big play on a 4th down, and had the home chain crew. I think they didn't get it by 2 lengths of the chain, so I'm glad we were at home. And Al made a big play, as he's done all year. And then at that point, you want to manage the clock and bleed it out, and walk off the field winners. So
the stat sheet, in case anybody's wondering, Mann had 254 yards and 5 touchdowns on the ground. A huge day by Brian Mann. Also defensively, shout out to Rod Smith, back-to-back games with 2 interceptions. That's big to have back-to-back games playing defense that well.
No doubt.
And Quadjay led the team in tackles with 11, and then Al Matthews, like I said, 3 tackles for a loss, including a sack. Montel Lee had a sack and 2 tackles for a loss, and CJ Kashif had a sack as well. So with that being said, what is the game plan going into this week at Brevard, a new conference opponent and a team that Ferrum and yourself have never played at? So
sure.
What's the game plan going in an environment you've never been in?
Well, we've got 2 coaches on staff that have worked at Brevard, actually. Our defensive coordinator, Marshall Doss, and Vince Reese, our quarterback's coach, both served on the staff down there in their careers. So it gives you some background of, it's a high school stadium that they share as a college, but they've done a great job putting new turf down a few years ago. And, on film you can see it's a nice venue. It's not your traditional high school setting. So, it's going to be different, in the fact that we haven't been down there before, but I'm sure the field's 100 yards long and got uprights at both ends, and we've got to go down and execute and, beat a team that's won their last 2 games. So they've won a few, and, it should be a good game this Saturday.
Well, Coach, good luck. Ferrum's trying to go to 5-2 overall, and that'd be a big road win. And like I said, Coach, good luck, and we'll see you next week.
Great. Thanks, Jordan.